we consult. What we do is we consult and train other nonprofits to help them reach their goals and their mission. We comprise about 40 combination retired and employee consultants from both the nonprofit sector as well as the for-profit. It was actually started by a local Exxon chief in Houston, and then nationally started Exxon USA. And we've been trained in all of these different subjects. Strategic planning, we do a lot of that. Helping to build a marketing plan. We have a special arrangement with U of H for dealing with very low cost technology, like if you need a social media or updated website or database, that sort of thing. And they can even help you with some AI. We're getting more and more into that. Helping set up accounting and all that. So over $1 million in services given annually. That's if we charged like Accenture or large consulting firm rates, but we don't. We charge like a tenth of that. A lot of different clients from 6 counties all around Houston area, and we cover almost every kind of client from school districts, churches, all kinds of other types of nonprofits and arts and cultures and all different areas. So that's a contact information button, and you'll get a copy of the slides and all at the end. This is what we found that almost every nonprofit looks like. There's 4 major processes: collecting donation, managing finance, managing all the volunteers and staff, and actually serving the client. And there's like about 4 databases to deal with that. And we always have something on top of all of this would be how you deal with a subset of donors is dealing with grants. And another area on top of that would be dealing with your taxes and all. This is some other information we gathered, and this is real recent, like in 22, 23 data. 60% of nonprofits have limited staff, and that including us. This was one that surprised me. 33% of nonprofits have an operating budget exceeding $100,000. That means 2/3 of us don't. Like we don't. Inefficiencies are all over the place, trying to get donations, and then donors don't repeat. Is another problem we have. And a big thing is lack of data driven. That's 2 ways. 70% of nonprofits lack the resources to invest in their data analytics. This is where AI can help with a lot of this. We'll see some things today about all this. And 76% of nonprofits don't really have a data strategy. And that's something that we could help you with, outside of this at a later date. Donor retention. We haven't seen quite this rate, but we've seen a lot of this with a lot of our clients. Only 45% do a second time. So like you're almost always, you got a few that you can count on, and the rest of them are like, like first time donors to you. Board engagement is another problem that everybody complains about. And tech adoption. Most nonprofits are way behind the for-profit, even behind small business companies that would be generally like us. And that's one reason we wanted to bring AI to nonprofits, start giving you knowledge of it and how you could use it to kind of close that gap some. These are some areas that we see how AI can help, and we're going to be talking about one of them today in grant writing. Some email automation and donor volunteer engagement, social media, how to do your newsletter with a lot less effort, chat bots, and some data-driven decision making. There's about 4 major large language models that you hear about in the press. Now, the first one was ChatGPT, which is a product of OpenAI. So these are some items that it's really good at. And they've added some stuff recently where they're dealing with more like a search engine with intelligent voice and moving to like a mobile assistant. But every one of these is a little better at one thing and not so much at another. And so I'm just going to give you a quick overview of this. This is Claude, which is one I personally use a lot, but it has more accurate, and most of the people came from OpenAI, and they wanted it to be a lot more accurate, more rails to prevent it from making hallucinations that you hear about. And so this is their latest numbers. So one of the problems you'll find is these things, it's like monthly, a major shift. There's one-upmanship between all these four players. One from Meta, or the Facebook people, is an open source one, and you can even run it on a local device. And then Gemini, Google, and they've just rolled out some changes in the last couple of weeks. And their newest thing is called a Gemini Live, which is a mobile app, and you basically just have a conversation with it, and it keeps up in the conversation. You could go, well, no, I'm not talking about that. This is what I want to talk about. And they'll go, oh, okay, so sorry, and move on. And you can actually involve it and brainstorm it. And that's also the same place that OpenAI is headed with their system. And let me quit sharing. And now Alex is going to present to you how to do your grants using AI.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Carl, for that intro. First things first. So I have prepared this special AI grant writing agent, and today I'm going to show to you its capabilities and how it can save you a tremendous amount of time and money and resources and take control of finding funding for your organization. So first things first, I'm going to start by asking 3 important questions, because while I prepared this demo for you today, I want to make sure I'm going to tailor it to your best needs. Okay, so by the end of this call, you're going to get real results as solutions, or at least as close as possible. First question, who am I talking to today? If you don't mind dropping your position in your nonprofit organization in the Zoom chat box, I would appreciate that. For example, is it executive directors I'm speaking to, marketing, etc.? Hayes, founder, Senior Housing Solutions. Welcome to the webinar. Anna Wang, founder. Presidents. Welcome, Gerald. Welcome, Anna. Seems like we got a lot of leadership rolling in. Consultant, okay. Well, it seems like we have a very interesting mix of people today. Executive director, very cool. A lot of people in leadership positions. Chairman of Community Relations for RPWP Education Foundation. All right, cool. Got a lot of big cheeses at the organization. I love having my decision makers on. So question number 2, what types of nonprofits are we working with today? What's the cause that you serve? Again, I would appreciate it if you can drop it in the chat. Of course, the amount of funding you guys will need will, of course, depend on what type of cause it is you're serving. Tai Chi, Oasis, mental health, ADHD, love it, love it. I'm all for organizations that help people with neurodivergence. Management consulting for nonprofits, okay, finding resources to assist senior citizens. Gerald, people helping people. Could you perhaps be more specific about that, please? Because we don't just speak in broad, generic terms. Deborah, education, scholarships for underserved servant and students in CY Fair. Scholarships, nice. Got a wide variety of causes. I like hearing that. Third and last question. If there was one challenge you wanted to resolve today with regards to your grant writing using AI, what would it be? Thank you, Gerald. That helps a lot. Appreciate it. Again, if there is one challenge you wanted to resolve today regarding grants, what would it be? Finding the grants to apply for. Excellent, Ace. We have prepared this. That's exactly what I prepared this for. Anyone else? Quality of the ask. Interesting. Making a more heartfelt plea. Meeting the requirements. Excellent. Well, we'll dive right into it. First things first, Deborah, streamline processes. Yes. Again, when you're interacting and engaging with me, I would appreciate being a little more nuanced and detailed with regards to describing things. If there's a particular process you wanted to streamline in your grant writing, like pretty much everyone else here has already chimed in and asked, I would appreciate hearing that. Don't be shy. Speak up. All right, so first things first, allow me to introduce myself. I'm Alexander Velichko, been on computers since I was 2. I've had my first brush with AI back in 2009 when I interacted with an AI avatar completely by accident, launched a YouTube music channel in 2010 devoted to digitizing vinyl records. 2017, invested in our first AI app, used that to craft a 10,000 word article that we later cut down to 6,000 words and optimized, and that showed up for several dozen Google keywords in page 1 of Google. Now, that just goes to show that I've been doing this before GPT anything, and we've been using it for real world use cases. You can kind of already see how that bridges into the topic of writing grant proposals. So I'm just going to quickly share my screen right over here. All right, guys, do you see my screen? If you could, can you put a 1 in the chat box if you can see my screen? Excellent. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Ace. Cool. Everyone so far can see my screen. All right. A quick Google search for the challenges that nonprofits face. Guess what it puts at the very top? Funding. Nonprofits have been struggling to raise funds due to inflation and financial instability. Think about what that might think about. I mean, we're all facing the fallout of inflation. And it is kind of challenging to find someone reliable and also apply for grants and also tailor and personalize the message, kind of like what we've been talking about here. Now, you might have seen how just a moment ago, Carl was going over the different AI models and what each can help with. There are 2 different ways that you can approach the grant proposal writing process. Either you can use the AI, use things like ChatGPT and Claude and Perplexity and Gemini to search for those grant opportunities, and just try to go it alone and use prompt engineering yourself. Or B, use a pre-trained agent that can answer all of your questions regarding grant proposals that we have trained on ESHA's own library of grant proposals that have been approved by the grantors. Thanks a lot, Levy, for putting in that effort. And so that we have this solid framework in place with which you can interact with an agent and get any of your questions answered about writing grant proposals so that you don't have to wait for someone to fall into your lap, and you can take control over your grant writing process. You want to tailor the message? You can do that. You simply have to voice type. Click this little microphone icon. So just to give an example of what it looks like, This is what it looks like inside of our app. And I'm going to drop the link again in our chat box, in the chat box. Okay. So the first thing is it does is it outlines the average time it takes to write a grant proposal and 25 and the approximate cost on average that it takes to write a grant proposal. It starts with the introduction needs assessment, and it asks you for project summary, the problem or need your project intends to solve, and if known, target grantors, or if you need assistance in finding suitable grantors. And what I did is I used AI ChatGPT to come up with a fake organization, a sort of executive summary with some data, and I gave the AI Grant Writing Pro what it needed to proceed to the next step. Next, what it did is it proceeded to the grantor search and the research and development strategy. It asks what's involved of you, collect any preliminary research or data you already have that supports the need for increased green space and its benefits. Specific details about the target population and urban areas identified for the project and any challenges. I mean, this agent is intelligent. It doesn't need prompt engineering. It doesn't need prior training. You just have to have a one-on-one conversation with it. And this is where the heart is. This is something that Carl was talking to me about, something that he has personally also faced a big challenge with. We go through the hypothetical data. I reminded it they can research with the potential grantors online. Can you do that? And it actually took its time and went on a web search to find the grants that best match the criteria. Think what they're going to do for your organization.
Alexander,
Yes,
uh, is it okay if I back up just a little bit just to make sure I'm following properly?
of course.
Okay. So what you asked this this application to do, um, initially you gave it your purpose, you kind of like your business statement, right?
Yeah,
And then based off of that, you asked it to look for uh, those various grants that are out there.
correct.
Okay,
Correct.
thank you.
You're welcome. And once it finds those available grants, the next step is it prepares sort of it gives you an outline of the components that are supposed to go into your grant proposal. And then it will ask you for any other information that it needs based on the criteria of what's gotten approved to prepare an actual draft grant proposal. And of course, review it and correct it if necessary. This AI is intelligent. It's interactive. If you have feedback for it, you can speak to it like you would a human being. For example, if you want the message to be more heartfelt, you can literally speak into this. And we're going to go into get a little more interactive in a moment. You can literally voice type and say, just give me a moment, because it can take a little bit of time to start recording. But needless to say, you can voice type into this AI grant writer, and you can literally tell it, please make this message more heartfelt, or make this message more detailed, or insert this, and it will immediately insert your revisions into the grant proposal within the guardrails, as they're called within AI, or the guidelines that I've used to train this assistant. Okay. Now, before we proceed into the live demonstration part of it, did you have any questions? And I would appreciate your feedback throughout this. Did I miss anything? Am I going too fast? Am I going too slow? Would appreciate if you guys could let me know.
I think you've got a good pace. Thank you.
Good. Thank you, Ace. All right. So what I've done here is I have pasted a link to I've pasted a link to the AI. We call it an AI SWAT team because it's a team of marketing experts that is trained in over 25 years of marketing tests. This is just one of the things it can do. When you go to that page, all you have to do is enter your name and your email, and you'll immediately unlock 10 interactions at no cost, at no charge. And that should be enough. And that should be enough to get started writing a grant proposal. So let me just count however many interactions it took, because a complete interaction can be I send a message and Grant Writing Rose sends a message back to me. Okay, so let me quickly count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 interactions. You guys may need a few more. You guys may need a few more because this is a real case. You were talking back and forth with the Grant Writing Pro. But needless to say, that should be enough to get you started. Okay? So I've got that link in the chat. You're welcome to enter in your name and email so that you can use it in your own time. In the meantime, just to kind of see it live in action, who wants to volunteer and have their grant proposal, have a real grant proposal drafted in real time? And I can share this chat with you. I can share this chat with you, and you can continue interacting with it so you can finish the steps in the process. Who would like to volunteer to have their grant proposal written with me in real time?
Do we have to already have an active 501c in order to do this?
You don't. With that being said, in general, when we work with nonprofit organizations, it is, yes, the 501c3 is kind of the ticket to getting things done. So
Yeah, most foundations and all are going to want you to be a 501(c)
yes,
before you can get a grant. But that's something we can help you with for a minimum fee at ish if you're interested in becoming a 501(c).
yes.
Yes.
So the foundations will require while we don't necessarily require it to use the app, the foundations do require it. So yes, thank you, Carl, for pitching in and mentioning that. Ace, all right. Stephanie, cool. You're a volunteer. Excellent. So what I'm going to do now is, and this is super important. If you're watching the replay, this is super important. You have to make sure to select the Grant Writing Pro. Yay, Stephanie. All right. Select the AI Grant Writing Pro, and I'm simply going to type go so that we can start, and it will ask you its requirements. Hello, I'm Grant Pro Advisor. Crafting a successful grant proposal is indeed an art form blended with scientific precision. On average, professionals may spend up to 40 hours writing a grant at $20 to $25 an hour. My objective is not just to save you time, but also to enhance the quality of your proposals. So let's begin with the introduction and needs assessment. Stephanie, do you have a brief summary of your project, including its goals, objectives, and the problems and needs you'd intend to address? As for the grantor's part, we can let the AI help with that. Stephanie, if you have a project summary ready, you're welcome to paste it into the chat. Otherwise, if you can either type it or unmute yourself and speak, I can give it as much details as you have.
Okay, hi, this is Stefan, but I do have
sorry.
one.
No worries, Stefan.
It's okay. I do have one. I'm trying to paste it quickly.
Thank you.
Okay. Give me a second. Right here. Oh, wait. Okay.
Excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. So Horizon Charity Services. Am I pronouncing that correctly, Stefan?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you. So it's basically summarized what your project specializes. I'll begin searching for potential grantors offering grants that may match OCS's comprehensive service offerings. And and you might have noticed that it paused for a moment. It paused for a moment to actually find the grantors. Guys, if you're not speaking, I would appreciate it if you could mute your microphones. Thank you very much, because I want this to be as seamless and uninterrupted as possible. Departments of Veterans Affairs, the VA Careers in Employment website, State Department of Health and Human Services, Community Services Boards, Next Step in Development Strategy. Then your next steps is to upload the data for your proposal and research findings. Absolutely crucial, because it's not going to prepare a draft proposal, and it wouldn't make sense to present it to the foundation without having that data. Clearly outline how each of your programs is going to directly impact your target demographic. Given the spiritual guidance component of OCS, exploring grantors that specifically fund faith-based initiatives, and especially those emphasizing interfaith and community service aspects, could open additional funding streams. All right, Stefan, the ball's in your court. The next step is that it does require the data in order to continue.
I don't have any data. I don't have any data right now.
It's okay. Let's interact. Let's tell that and see what it happens. And see how I'm asking an open-ended question, what next? Start with publicly available data and research in the populations and issues your programs address. This can include veteran homelessness rates, mental health statistics, employment challenges among veterans, and the benefits of community and spiritual support. And what I can what I can do is I can ask it to perhaps look at the VA website and perhaps take some data points. Define your impact measurement framework. Develop a clear framework for how you intend to measure the impact of your services. Craft a narrative around the existing needs. Consider partnering with academic institutions and incorporate your budget for research and data collection efforts, something else the foundations are looking for. Your budget should reflect costs related to staffing for program delivery and evaluation, data collection tools, partnerships or consultancy fees. Stefan, do you have some of these things ready? And I'm not asking you to provide it right now if you can't, but do you at least have your budget? Do you at least have your budget and your expenses ready?
Not yet. I'm still working on it.
All right. So we're just going to skip right ahead in the process and ask it to basically flesh out a draft grant proposal. Check this out. Still working on the budget, period. We don't have it completely fleshed out, but I would like you to create a draft grant proposal with all the elements we have so far, period. For anything we don't have yet, such as the specific data and the budget, comma, simply create placeholders, period. We'll go back and reinsert those later, period. As for the broad data, comma, you can simply go to the, sorry about that. Back to the sources that you cited, such as the VA, and take the broad data and insert it and simply put a placeholder for more specific data, period. Thank you so much for your research, period. And there we go. And there we have it. We have placeholder for a table of contents. And we have an overall structure. We have an overall structure for the grant proposal. And you can ask it to write out each section one by one. Now let's get into actually writing the grant proposal, period. Please give me the executive summary and introduction, period. Now, as a general rule of thumb, when you're interacting with AI, I like to be polite. I ask it, please. Horizon Charity Services is seeking insert specific grant amount and funding to enhance and expand its comprehensive grant support services tailored for veterans, non-veterans, and their families facing challenges in housing, healthcare, mental health support, and employment. Leveraging the compassionate teachings of the Catholic faith, OCS also provides spiritual guidance through its unique French Catholic radio station, creating a community of faith, reflection, and unity. VA, in most recent year of data, and this is a placeholder, reported that insert key statistic, e.g. over 37,000 veterans were homeless on any given night. Mental health issues, unemployment, and the struggle for community reintegration further exacerbate the predicament faced by veterans and their families. OCS's project is aimed at addressing these critical gaps through tailored support services that encapsulate housing assistance, healthcare access, mental health counseling, and employment training programs, all underpinned by spiritual nourishment and guidance. Introduction. Established in, and you fill in the year it was established. Horizon Charity Services has been at the forefront of providing essential support services to veterans, non-veterans, and their families. Operating in such and such locations, OCS has grown from a grassroots initiative into a pivotal support pillar for our community. See where what do you think, Stefan?
It's great.
Now you see how much time this saves you guys. I want to ask you all, let me ask you all, how much time does it normally take you guys to otherwise not just write the grant proposal or have someone, even a volunteer, write the grant proposal and do all this research, find the foundations and their specific requirements? Can any of you provide figures as to how much time it takes you or a grant writer to do it? Anyone? 40 hours? So these suggested 40 hours. I'm just surveying the audience for real figures here. A lot of time and money. Well, it's not a number, but I can only imagine what that means. All right, so before we proceed to the next part, the time could spend on research alone could be 40 hours. There you have it. See? And we just spent like 5-10 minutes doing the research that would otherwise have taken 40 hours to complete. Stefan, thank you so much for volunteering. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to share.
You're welcome.
Yes, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share this chat. And I'm going to create this link for you. And this is an entirely interactive link. I'm going to, sorry about that. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to paste the link. I wonder why it's not pasting, copying. Just give me a moment. Tech is wonderful. There we go. And there you have it, Stefan. Sorry, just a moment. And there you have it. You can open this link, continue with it in your own time. You can interact with it for up to 10 free interactions. And you can create an account to unlock 10 more for a total of 20. So that
Thank you.
you can fill in the blanks. You're welcome, Stefan. You can fill in the blanks, contribute the data, contribute the time and hours once you have those ready, and you'll have your end in way less than 40 hours. You'll have your own grant proposal ready. Okay. I'm going to do a little, and so what I'm going to do a little math with you guys in a moment. And Stefan, by the way, I would appreciate it if you could, if you have a business email for your organization, I would appreciate it if you could direct message that to me so that we can continue the conversation and follow up and answer any questions you may have one-on-one. Thank you. Thank you, Stefan.
You're welcome.
All right.
Thank you too.
All right. At this moment, I'm going to open up the floor for Q&A for a few minutes before we do some math. Did you guys have any questions? Any comments? Feedback?
Overwhelmed. Really.
Ah. Well, I guess that happens after people's minds are blown.
You make it look like magic.
That's just what AI is capable of. People don't see, when something looks like when something looks like magic, you don't see all the time and effort that goes into it. The AI helps with a lot of the thinking. Dave, what are some of the simple tasks that are being automated by AI? There are a lot of things. Great question. Now, it's a broad one. It's a broad one. So if you could perhaps specify some of the tasks that you would like to save time on, I would appreciate that. In previous, Carl and Esh had me on for previous webinars where we've explained how to write campaigns, create entire landing pages, and redesign entire websites. And for those who opt in through the link that I dropped earlier in chat, you'll get access to some of these video trainings that show examples of how I do it in typically in 10 minutes or less. I'm constantly updating this page with more tutorials. Dave, if you have any idea of the use cases or tasks that you had in mind, what would those be? I do appreciate you dropping your email for me so that if it's too, just let me know if it's too much for the little time that we have. Job descriptions. Yes, that is a very good one. Job descriptions, emails. So while it's still somewhat broad, you can definitely get started with those 10 free interactions. You can describe what you want to any of these assistants. In the case of writing a job description for someone, I would talk to the marketing professor because a marketing professor uses not just theory, but actual case studies and split tests and marketing experiments to construct a message and a job description that is compelling, persuasive, and communicates what you are looking for in a job applicant. I'm working with a company right now who has been making job postings, and while the case study is still underway, we've seen a massive difference between the two different job descriptions with the same rules and duties described. One of them received many more applicants in one day, while the other simply didn't. Now, it's still underway, but I'm going to update everyone on my social media and let everyone know how it works. Emails, FAQs, that's excellent. Marketing posts and PSAs with the right structure. Excellent. Thank you, Dave. That's a lot of excellent use cases. Matter of fact, you just gave me an idea for another AI expert to create for nonprofits, structuring PSAs. Many of these team members can create commercials, and I've used it to make video ad scripts, YouTube video scripts, descriptions, comments, basically entire experts that you can interact with based on video transcripts. But PSAs, that's a good one. That's a good one. Thank you, Dave. All right, while everyone is waiting for their minds to decompress from all of from the huge brain explosions that I'm sure happened today, do you guys have any other questions? How do we keep the human element of the AI output? It depends what's meant by that. It's very straightforward. It's very straightforward to humanize the output. For the most part, you simply interact with it like a human in voice type and conversational language. If you want to remove fluff, use tell outright to remove fluff. If you have to be strict with it and harsh with it, you can be strict and harsh with it. How to get this? Anna, thank you so much for asking that. I am going to paste the link. I'm going to paste the link right here in the Zoom chat. And for anyone who attends, you are going to get the link in a follow-up email. Gerald, is there a way to contact you directly? I'm going to post my contact information here in the chat. Carl will share it with everyone at the end of this webinar, but I'm going to post it here for convenience.
Yeah, and your contact information is in the slideshow that we'll send to everybody as well.
Yep. Gerald, there's my contact information. You can email me, and that's my toll-free number, or you can simply visit our website, agencyintelligence.co, not .com, .co for Columbia. I know that's what it was originally created for, but it's no longer specific to Columbia. Thank you, Harold. Deborah, how much does this cost? After the 10 free interactions and 10 more that you unlock when you create an account, it's a modest $100 a month for the lowest plan. The next plan up is $300 a month, and that unlocks access to more experts, more AI experts, as well as API integration to pull in data from other apps to create your own custom agents for your organization. Now, to kind of put things into perspective, someone was asked, is a contract required? No contract required whatsoever. All you have to do is sign up. You can immediately interact with the grant writing expert. The paid upgrade for unlimited interactions is entirely subscription based. You simply input your card and you subscribe. If you do need help from us, and do require consulting services, then we can talk about perhaps getting into a contract.
Alex, we have about 15 minutes. Is there anything else you can show them interactively while we've got everybody on? Like another use case or answer an email or something?
Sure. Did you guys have any example emails that could be answered? Because there's a lot that this AI is capable of doing. Writing persuasive messages, and everything is, I mean, everything is tailored. I mean, everything is tailored to get the max to compel the response from the person you're writing the message to. So if you have any particular use cases you're looking for, like writing to emails, perhaps customizing a message to make it more empathetic, you're welcome to drop it in the chat, or if you prefer to speak, you can unmute yourself. Anyone?
I'm so sorry. What was the question?
Did you have a particular use case you wanted to go over? Any emails that you wanted to perhaps compose a response to?
Oh, I don't. I don't have any directly. No.
Okay.
Alex, I would like a very persuasive email to send to some of our potential sponsors to come to our celebration we're having on October 30th of this year, and for them to either buy a seat or table, and then there would be a link to where to click to, to go buy.
Thank you, Carl. Appreciate that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to very quickly.
I mean,
Yes.
it's 30th, it's our 40th anniversary.
Sorry about that. No worries. No worries. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to the Esh website. I'm gonna pull up the Web Pages Analyzer app. I'm gonna enter in the URL. And what it's going to do is it's going to make a comprehensive analysis of the Esh website, so that we have a very personalized data set. And see, it extracts the value proposition from Esh's website. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the email specialist. I'm going to paste in my objective for writing an email. Esh is having his 40th anniversary celebration on October 30th. I would love to write a persuasive, yet personal and heartfelt email to invite sponsors to the celebration. The objective is to buy a seat or table to the celebration. Period. Hey, Carl, just watch the magic. This is something that I would change. AI cliche. As we approach a significant milestone in our journey, I want to reach out personally, and there's something very special to us at Esh. This year marks our 40th anniversary to empowering nonprofit organizations in our community. It's a celebration, not just of our longevity, but of the impact